Welcome to Even Knits. My name is Emily. I'm the maker and creator behind everything you see here on this channel. And here I express my love for all things handmade, especially knitting. And today I want to share with you all of my fall plans. So I have 3 in mind. I don't know if I'm going to get to all 3 this fall before I dive into like wintry things, but these are my plans, these are my thoughts, and we'll see how it goes. Let's start off with what I'm wearing. This is unblocked, and technically this is one of my fall plans. So this is the super simple summer sweater by Locatelli in the Lamb and Kid yarn Birdie DK. Their label here. I have my yarn here, the leftovers. It's a very textured, it's a DK weight, textured Surrey alpaca, 90% Surrey alpaca, 10% silk. They had a sample in their shop at the Lamb and Kid of this exact sweater, not in these colors, but in this exact yarn. And I fell in love. I fell in love before I even got there. I knew when I was stalking their Instagram, this is what I wanted to make. So I purchased this when I visited Bainbridge Island in early September, and I have now finished it. I also am going to Rhinebeck in about a week, and this is going to be my Rhinebeck sweater. So if you see, I haven't weaved in all of my ends. I did the weave and Steven for a lot of them. I find that works really well with textured knits, and I think it works perfectly here. So it's just like my cast on and bind off that I need to weave in. So I'm going to do so. I did make the sleeves short sleeve. I took this from another end. I took this from their sample at the shop. They did 3/4 sleeves, and that is what I wanted to do. So yeah, I love it. It has a split hem. I'm not sure if trying to stand up is going to be a good idea here or not, but I don't know what you can see. Okay, well, the camera tipped over when I stood up, so tipped over again when I sat down. Okay, hopefully things are good because I'm just attached to be a microphone wire. But yeah, this is the super simple summer sweater by Locatelli. I knit it in a size 3. If you want all of the details, I did do a little bit of a vlog, so I'm gonna block this tonight. Weave in my ends tonight, block it tonight, and then I will show you the final finished object, the final outcome in that vlog. So stay tuned for that if you care. But yeah, that is fall knitting plan number 1, pretty much checked off. It will be finished tonight. I will weave in these ends and I will block it. Okay, on to plan number 2. This is super special because I also bought this on Bainbridge Island in Washington State. So I purchased, if you watched my video about my yarn purchases in the PNW, this is something I purchased. It is Rockies DK in the colorway Cozy Cabin from Explorer Knits. As the name says, it is a DK base. It has these greens, but reds and pinks, a little bit, not really orange, but like, it's there. There's some bits. So I love this yarn. This is the only one they had in the shop. I bought this one at Mercerie on Bainbridge Island, like I said, 6 times already. And I didn't know what I wanted. Well, okay, I thought I wanted to do a Sheepcamp sweater with it, use this as a contrast color, and then something else as the main color. And on my trip, I didn't find the perfect main color. However, I came home and Explorer Knits and Fibers was having an in-stock sale. And I was browsing, you know, as one does. And I fell in love with this color. I hope you can see the light is fading. This is a very, very neutral, but it is still a little bit of a variegated. It has some color changing, but in a very, very subtle, low contrast way. Oh, I might have just given away why it's so special. So I went ahead and added this to my cart, and then I realized the name. The name of the yarn is Bainbridge Island. And then I was like, okay, done. It's done. Does this go together? I think it does. I think this is like a very, like I said, super low contrast, very light main color. And then we've got obviously this dark contrast color. So I have 3 skeins of this yarn. That's another reason I was waiting to make this video, because it finally came in the mail. So I have 3 skeins of this, and this will be my main color for a Sheepcamp sweater. I think it'll also be nice because, like here, I feel like this one, you can really see, hopefully you can see, all of the just variation and color depth in this skein. So something that, you know, sometimes I'm hesitant to knit with really neutral colors because I find them like boring. Like I get really excited about color and seeing how something comes together through color. And so to me, even after the color work portion is done of the sweater, I'll still be really engaged because I'm just going to be excited to see how this comes together. I probably will, 99% chance, helical knit this so that I'm alternating skeins and not really getting any pooling. That is typically what I do. Typically what I do is I will cast on a sweater, I will knit the color work or the till you split for sleeves in one color, and then once I split for sleeves and I'm knitting the body, I will traditionally knit in helical knitting if I am using a variegated color or a hand-dyed color where there might not be consistency across the whole thing. So that is plan number 2, a Sheepcamp sweater. Jennifer Berg, I believe, is the name of the designer, and it's this combo. So this just screamed fall to me. It was, you know, it wasn't even officially fall when I went to Washington State, but it was, you know, it was September, and September is fall. So this is just perfect. This is perfect. Love this. But I don't think that's what I'm casting on. I think to celebrate the finishing this sweater, I'm going to cast on something else, of course. And I talked about this in a previous video as well, but I think I'm going to cast on a Soldotna by Caitlin Hunter. So this is my first ever Soldotna, but I've been wanting to make it forever. And I went to Europe last year, so if you're getting any, so far you hear that I buy all my yarn on my travels, which is something that's very intentional. I love going to local yarn stores. I love just buying yarn as my souvenir. So that's what I do. I mean, it's very unique, but I love it. So I buy yarn as my souvenir basically on trips. I usually try and get it from a local yarn store, and if possible, something super local too. So let me just wind this up because this was a little bit tangled. So that's what I did. So I went to Europe last year. I went to 4 countries, and I won't go through the whole shebang, but basically I bought a yarn in every country for the most part. And I wanted to make a Soldotna because it's a 4-color top. It is a cropped short sleeve, but the one cropped short sleeve DK color work is still going to be pretty thick, but also I live in Florida, so short sleeves, cropped, no problem. Going to be able to wear it most of the year, or yeah, for a lot of the year. So yeah, so basically the main color is going to be this brown. This is Bicycle. This I got in Amsterdam from Stephen and Penelope. This is gonna be my main color. I will pop up my inspo pick too. Also, I'd gone through all the projects and I knew I wanted jewel tones again, fall. I went this time last year. So it was, you know, fall when I went to, I don't get fall here in Florida. So like if I can get fall on my travels or through my knitting or through my clothes, I definitely try because I love leaf changing and the fall weather. It is beautiful. I got this in London at Beautiful Knitter. It is another DK weight, Blueface Leicester. So some of these bases like aren't all the same, but whatever, I don't care, they're all DK. This is a DK weight called Viseron. 100% farm to needle DK weight from Steadfast yarn. And like I said, I got this at Beautiful Knitter, which was probably top 5 of my favorite yarn shops ever I've been to. So this is just very fall to me, and they had so many beautiful fall colors. I could have bought every color for this sweater at that yarn shop, but I knew I wanted to get a different skein, and every country I went to, yarn is my souvenir. That is my souvenir. That is my memento. And then the sweater that I make and the memories that is made and the things I'm able to remember and cherish as I'm knitting, you know, as I'm wearing and knitting, each thing just are really special to me. So I do try and get yarn on almost every trip I go to. So my next two colors are, I have no idea how to pronounce, Gilliatt, and the colorway for it. It's kind of heavy. It literally could be a worsted or a light DK. I don't remember, and it's in French. But I got this in Paris at Little Weasel. I think they've since moved storefronts, from what I can understand. Again, a lot of their Instagram stories are in French, but I still follow them because I went there. So it's a very, very dark green. And then my final color is actually from Amsterdam again. I bought it at Stephen Penelope, and it's from an Irish dyer. Shoot. Here's the color. I don't know where the label is. When I was in Europe, I hand wound all this up because I thought I was gonna start it in Europe, and then I never ended up doing so. So I don't have the label anymore. I'm gonna have to put it on screen because I don't remember right now, but I know I wrote it down in my Ravelry. Like right when I got all of these, I inputted the yarns and I inputted where I bought them because, like I said, they were just so special. So this is going to be my next cast on. I also think I'm gonna do a little bit of like more reminiscing of looking at photos from my trip and like, just thinking about that time because it was so fun. So those are my 3 fall projects. Like we said, 1 down, 2 to go. This will be my next one. And will I get to this one this year or save it for next fall like I, did with this one? Honestly, I think that's the most likely scenario is I will finish this and then move on to something wintry, but you never know because I'm going to Rhinebeck in just a couple of weeks here, and I feel like I'm going to pick up some yarn and be inspired by something new and want to like cast on that right away. But we'll see, to be determined. So I am going to go cast on all this yarn. Yay, all my fall projects. Okay. Bye friends, happy knitting, happy making, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here.